Keith Russell for CBSN DFW. Let's all take time out with CBS 11 Sports. Now that it's July, we can start our countdown to the Olympics in Tokyo and rooting on some of the local athletes. 18-year-old Hailey Hernandez from South Lake Carroll doesn't need to fear if someone tells her to dive into the deep end because she's already done it.
It's absolutely unreal, but at the same time, it's the best feeling in the world. I just can't be happier to represent not only Texas, but the whole United States.
Amidst the rejoicing when Hailey Hernandez qualified in Indianapolis for the Summer Games were a proud set of parents, her father Rick and her mom Teresa, who was shocked to find out how Hailey wanted to celebrate her milestone moment.
We asked her what she wanted afterwards, what she like, do you want to go have, a steak or whatever. It was kind of later at night, and she's like, I just want a milkshake.
The simple joys of a young lady who is sky high. After just graduating from South Lake Carroll, she departs for the Summer Games in mid-July and then heads to UT in August, where she'll major in biology. How do you, still be an 18-year-old?
I think maintaining my relationships with my team, with my coaches.
On that hop, just watch out for pushing over the toes. Just sink in a little bit more so we can push up.
I'm still a kid. I still have to make time to have fun, and even just having fun at practice and taking the time to not only just focus on my diving, but focus on myself, my schooling, and other relationships outside of the pool.
That includes her relationship with her brother Nathaniel, a diver himself, who paved the way for Hailey. And now it's Hailey inspiring other kids to realize that any goal is within reach.
Being able to practice with them and then be around me all the time, I know many people have said that they've looked up to me, and it's just such an amazing feeling. And I know that going forward, hopefully they'll be able to say, hey, she did it. She was so young, and I can continue to push and reach my dreams too.
More so than, oh my gosh, my child's an Olympian, the fact that my child is a role model is that's so precious to me.
And as Hailey steps onto the 3-meter diving board in these Olympics, she may do so in front of no family and no friends if they're not allowed in the stands in Japan. As a 13-year-old, Hailey went to China for a competition minus her family. If she has to travel to Tokyo by herself, it won't be anything new. But trust me, she will not feel like she's all alone.
She knows, that undoubtedly we're here for her. We're supporting her. I think she will probably be able to hear the whole community, all of Texas cheering for her.
And to that, South Lake Carroll's Hailey Hernandez, who could end up carrying the hopes and dreams of our entire nation, wants them to know one thing.
This is just the beginning.
And then there's 20-year-old Jasmine Moore from Mansfield. I reached out to her, and she didn't know me. She said, sure, I'll do the interview, but she'd prefer to do it in the morning. I said, I'm a morning guy. Her response, 7 a.m. Same conversation. She sends photos of her career and her high school coach's number. It's that type of discipline that's allowed her to get to the top and stay there.
There is a power within me, and you can't match my energy.
Jasmine Moore has been primed for this moment. At Mansfield Lake Ridge, she was the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year. Now bound for the Olympics in the triple jump makes her realize one thing.
I just know that I'm super blessed, and I'm just so thankful because God could have chose anyone, and he chose me.
Jasmine chose to focus solely on track after becoming a world champion in cheer. Now she's on the world stage again, never forgetting where her dreams began.
We stayed in Texas because they knew I had a great opportunity sports-wise, and the education was good in Mansfield, so it doesn't get much better than that.
Doesn't get much better than having an entire wall at your high school dedicated to you.
I've had very successful athletes, other people that made it to the trials, other people that made it to the Olympics, but none like Jasmine.
Coach Lauren Jones still keeps a letter Jasmine wrote to herself about where she wanted to be in life a decade after graduating.
In 10 years from now, I will have just turned 28 years old. I hope that I would have graduated from college and got my master's degree, praying that I would have gone to the Olympics. Lord, please.
Someone Moore wishes was around to see it will instead serve as her guardian angel in Tokyo. Her club track coach on the North Texas Cheetahs, Orlando McDaniel, passed away from COVID at the onset of the pandemic.
It still doesn't feel real that he's gone, Like even now when I compete, I'm always like thinking about him, and it definitely does hurt. But I know he's super proud of me, and this is a goal that he always knew I could accomplish.
And while Moore will be competing for McDaniel and her coaches past and present, and her family and friends will be watching back in Mansfield, she'll also take the track knowing the future generation will be watching with hopes of their own. Young ladies and young men who say, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I wake up with a dream and I want to be the next Jasmine Moore. What do you say to those young people?
I just trained super hard. I wanted it so bad, and you just have to want it more than anyone else, and you just have to work harder than everyone else, and everything will align and everything will work itself out. So whatever I have to do to make any of my goals come true, I will, and I think anyone else can do it.
Moore's mom, by the way, was an All-American long jumper at Florida State, so clearly talent runs in that family. Speaking of talent, in a year where we'll see Coach Jimmy Johnson, safety Cliff Harris, and receiver Drew Pearson go into the Hall of Fame, another Cowboys great, defensive end DeMarcus Ware, will be there one day too. And as Desmond Purnell found out, he can probably still play right now.
The time, 5:30 a.m. The moon is still out. Most people are still in bed. But there's one man who's working hard to change all of that.
It's 5:30 in the morning, and the first thing they think about, oh, I'm tired. I want to be that coffee that wakes you up. Work it, come on.
But coffee can't give you this type of early morning jolt.
Come on.
With the music pumping.
Come on, talk to me back here. Come on. There we go, talk to me. Yeah.
The weights clacking. And a 6'4", 250-pound NFL all-time great challenging you to get up and move.
Come on. Yeah, there we go.
The only choice left is to rise and grind.
10. Keep working. Now I get an opportunity to touch you, like they say in church.
Yes.
To make sure you get the Holy Ghost when you're out here. You know what I'm saying?
DeMarcus Ware is the all-time sack leader for the Dallas Cowboys. Even though he's retired, the 9-time Pro Bowler is taking no time off. Ware is now the co-owner of 3 Volt Fitness. He is also one of its lead trainers.
And you see how happy I am. Like I wake up in the morning, I am pumped in the morning. If you come here expecting something different, you got a problem.
There is a power within me.
For over a decade, Cowboy fans cheered every time DeMarcus Ware sacked the quarterback.
Oh, I still got it. I still got it.
I don't got it.
I still got it. Come on. Bam.
Now it's D. Ware who gets to cheer them on.
Everybody that's in here, and you can see it's like family. Everybody feels like they're part of something.
Ware launched 3 Volt Fitness over in Trophy Club last July. Not even a global pandemic could stop his dream from becoming a reality.
Build your business in a way to where your passion supersedes the COVID feel or whatever happens outside of your building, because it's so strong inside. So that's just the cool part about it, and that's why I've been sustainable. We working today.
Members at 3 Volt Fitness describe a D. Ware training session as fun, but hard.
It's awful. I mean that in a good way, but it's horrible. It's hard.
When I wake up, it's like, oh, do you really want to get out of bed? No, but you get in the car and you come, and the music's already playing. They've got everything ready for you to roll.
They're getting tired. They're telling me where's the break at. I said, there's no break. Come on.
Okay. So the members describe D. Ware's workout as very challenging. But hey, I played SEC football. My definition of challenging, probably a lot different than theirs. So I wanted to find out for myself, just how intense is this workout? Things started off well. Tossing up a few weights, squats, lunges, man, no problem. I thought to myself, hey, maybe I could have played for the Dallas Cowboys. But as time dragged on, the intensity of the drills increased, and so did D. Ware's coaching.
Hey, come on. Let's work, baby.
By the end of this 45-minute workout, I could barely stand. It was so intense. But overall, I thought my showing was respectable. As for DeMarcus,
you know what? When he first came out here, he said, D-Ware, we just got the 10s and bands and just some 18s of barbell. That's it? He just had the 10s on there, so I got to make sure he's getting right. He said he got the quarantine 15. I'm going to work it off today. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you eat your words. Around the second round. And he was like, oh my God, this is off the chain. Good job this morning.
lesson learned, D-Ware. Lesson learned. In Trophy Club, I'm Desmond Purnell, CBS 11 Sports.
At last check, Desmond is still recovering from that workout, but his alma mater, Mississippi State, winning the national title, its first in baseball, has eased the pain. For a young man in Terrell, Texas, it would be painful to not use his talent that goes way beyond his sport. As the starting center on Terrell's offensive line nears graduation, a weight has been lifted when it comes to the way JAKOBE Garrett is perceived.
He's much more than that, than just a giant football player.
As Garrett walks down the hall, all he has to do is think back to 8th grade when one of his teachers helped him shed that label.
She was like, would you like to be in robotics? I'm like, robotics? What is that? You know, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try it out.
It didn't take long to realize the unique position he was in.
Me being this size and African American in the robotics competition, there's like not a lot of me.
Very first time that he went to an event, he almost locked onto me and he was like, people don't look like me.
Which led to the ultimate question.
Since you're sharing that, what are you gonna do about it?
This season, JAKOBE won the state championship in robotics and has qualified for the world event in May, which reinforces one thing.
Don't let people put you in a box.
It definitely took teamwork to make sure Garrett could excel on and off the field.
We kind of took the kid out of it where we communicated to make sure he could do both so he never had to choose.
JAKOBE has chosen to focus solely on robotics at Morgan State University this fall. In many ways, Jamie Foxx has put the school and town on the map. But it's nice to celebrate the latest Terrell Tiger, who will no doubt inspire future generations.
I want kids like, I want to be like JAKOBE.
Where if you dream big enough, that dream can take off like a rocket. JAKOBE will attend Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, a school that has produced some distinguished alums like Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier. I graduated from there too. Not saying I'm distinguished, but I'll tell you who stands out. A young man from Plano who is out to carry on a family legacy. Pearson Coody has always had golf in his blood, which makes playing in his first ever PGA Tour event something, regardless of score, he'll never forget.
It could not have been better. It's so much fun to be able to see them and hit a good shot, hit a bad shot. They're laughing and cheering for you no matter what. From
Plano West High School, the #2 amateur in the world had his own cheering section, which included some of his teammates from the 2016 state championship team.
I like to think that I kind of made him the man he is today. But no, he deserves everything that's come his way.
Two people who deserve an immense amount of credit for Pearson Coody's development, his father Kyle serving as his caddy and his grandfather Charles Coody making the trip to McKinney from Abilene. Charles will forever be known for winning the 1971 Masters.
It's a big amount of pleasure to me to be able to come out and watch Pearson.
Knowing what he did on the tour, his whole career, and just being able to learn from him, and I'm sure he's going to have something to say, encouraging. And
just be yourself and focus and just play golf. Just go out and have fun.
Pearson's twin brother Parker is also at UT, and now both have played a PGA Tour event. Their dad also went to UT, but their granddad wears purple for a reason.
I told him, I said, I will root for you guys and your team, but in all the other sports, I'm a TCU guy.
Clearly, the legacy of the Coody family is alive and well. Sometimes we celebrate things before they deserve to be celebrated, but not in this case. This is something I've never seen before in almost 30 years of covering sports. Meet Kellen Buffington, the organizer of one of the biggest AAU tournaments this area has seen in a while, 189 teams from all over the nation. In addition, his job is to evaluate talent for some of the biggest college programs in the country.
Ultimately, it's a lot of work, and if you're not one of the top 25 to 50 players in the country, somebody like myself or another evaluator, we need to identify you and spread the word about who you are as a player and a person to allow these coaches to get to know you and then make a decision if they want to recruit you and invest in you.
Here at Drive Nation, the action was hot and heavy. It was everywhere, baseline to baseline. But clearly, there was one person who stood out from the rest.
I've never seen anything like that a day in my life before. This specifically the play where he came down the middle and dunked on the 7-footer. I just thought that was as spectacular as ever. That's the most spectacular play I've ever seen, I promise you.
17-year-old Hansel Emmanuel, playing for the SOH Elite team from Florida, passing through the Metroplex and putting on a display you literally have to see to believe.
He's been like a sensation pretty much on social media. That at first it was kind of like one of those things where people might have thought it was a gimmick or, you know, they didn't know if he could do that against top talent.
From the Dominican Republic and not having been in the United States long, Hansel's lack of English leaves him uncomfortable doing interviews. Having his left arm amputated below the shoulder when he was a kid is a subject he feels is old news, but not for the people who get a first-hand look and marvel at what he's been able to accomplish.
To be honest, this might be one of the greatest gifts you know, sometimes we don't look at it as a blessing at the time, right? But we never know what he would have been if he would have had, you know, both limbs or not.
And the ground ball is short. Velarde, he did it! He did it! No-hitter for Jim Abbott.
No one will ever forget Yankees pitcher Jim Abbott throwing a no-hitter despite missing his right hand. Or a couple years ago, linebacker Shaquem Griffin, drafted by the Seahawks despite missing his left hand. We've seen limb-deficient athletes excel before, but a high-level Division I basketball prospect missing an entire arm is unheard of.
There is precedence. I would say he definitely has the following of those guys. I don't think we've seen it a little bit in basketball, but not to this level.
It's just a testament to his work ethic and how good he is and how athletic he is and how special he is as a person. So I think there's always still room to grow, and I think the sky's the limit for a kid like him.
Now the question becomes, can the high school junior whose dad played professionally be a major player on the next level in college and beyond?
If you work hard and you believe in your abilities, you can really accomplish anything you want to accomplish, like at whatever level you want to do it. That kid is going to find his way onto a Division I college basketball program.
If he's doing that consistently over and over again against these types of guys, why are we even questioning it at this point? The question should be is how high is he going to go, not if he's going to play Division I basketball.
DFW can thank Hansel Emmanuel for the visit and reminder that life has no boundaries and no limits. Anyone who complains after seeing that completely needs to stop. But don't stop taking time out with CBS 11 Sports. I'm Keith Russell. Thanks for watching our sports special on CBSN Dallas-Fort Worth.